Late May 2024 with the Lovelocks in Sunninghill. Rough cut photo trails. And as always, they will be rough cut. I'll start with a standard introduction. Here we live at 22 Armitage Court in Sunninghill. All inside's about fierce guard cats. You may get a glimpse of one of them soon. This is the spot, so-called Robin's Corner, where GPS was tested from the late 1980s on, down at this spot. Yes, a bit of garden sculpture from June. Coming up to 4 years ago, she gave me that as a birthday present. Here's the oak tree that came up from an acorn. And yeah, cameras everywhere. Grass growing nicely, might cut it sometime. Coming down the front drive. Yes, this is June's car. Promotion of the website that was business many decades ago, but is now hobbies and charitable causes. Yes, this is one of our guard cats, Bentley. He's the senior guard cat, has been training Toadie in house protection, property protection, and lots more surveillance locally. Coming down here, yes, there's the bicycle. Haven't had a chance to try that out. This is the project of a couple of years ago now, I guess, with the accommodation for people like Bentley and our Toadie, with armed mice and various other things. And it's, of course, it's somewhere to put the dustbins. Glimpse round there, yeah, load of mess. Right, coming up, I'll be going into health and safety warnings in a moment, but there's a bit more about the robot boat in this one. Yeah, this is where we come into the house. This was our camper that was used to take Snoopy's robot boat down to the coast for its last attempt on the Atlantic. And battle damage, June said Robin did it, Robin said the wall did it, but the wall is okay. Now, I have to point out some health and safety things, warning messages everywhere. They're all jokes, of course. You don't have to take them seriously, so don't worry about it. Yes, closed circuit TV cameras inside and outside the house. Sound and video is monitored in local houses and everywhere. No trespassing. Violators will be shot. Survivors will be shot again. Probably, oh yes, another. That's my study in there. You may get a glance of that. Do not disturb. I'm disturbed enough already. And perhaps the most important sign, because it's not only cameras, it's other things like water squirters. Home of mad ex-NATO scientist Robin Lovelock. Beware of web cameras and water squirters loaded with water, paint, acid, DNA tracer or nerve agent. Robin would not be mad enough to test these, or would he? Okay. It's a joke, of course. Yes, that's a project from Christmas, the fairy, flatulent fairy, as somebody say when you look at the noises it can make. Lots of fun. Right, into the house. I think it's safe to do that now. And June's getting ready for us to go out for a picnic with the Bansals. So what I'll take you through here is a glance of the study. And what's going on at the moment is processing of yesterday's video that should be part of this photo trail at the end. Glimpse of the kitchen. Nothing much in there. June's hoping to get a new kitchen. Might do sometime. She got one in 18-1. Right. Now, first a glimpse of the lounge. And what's on the screen is the Spot Satcom's tracker position that is currently in June's car that we saw a glimpse of just here. And that's pretty good information. But what's much more important is the robot boat. Oh, slight distraction, a bright idea. We might make a duck, tug duck, I think. Probably go a little faster than most ducks. Right, we're coming into the important room now, which is the games room. One of the reasons for these videos is that hopefully we may find people to help in things like, it might be called property maintenance.
GPS time 9:41, 44 seconds, target alpha, 11 kilometers, at 349 degrees, GPS course 136, speed 0.0 knots, left 147.
So this is coming along nicely. We may be getting close to being able to do a Bray Lake test, which we do thoroughly before attempts on the Atlantic.
GPS time 9:42, 9 seconds, target alpha, 11 kilometers, at 349 degrees, GPS course 156, speed 0.0 knots, left 167.
That's the autopilot software running. If I switch off and start again, you'll hear the details like the version number.
Snoopy's Pickaxe 28X2 GPS only autopilot. Software version Romeo. Last update 6th of December 2017.
Yes, so we haven't had to change the software for years. The things that fail are always mechanical things, which are described in various places. This is the old tracker that's currently in, the proper one is in the car, but that is the same thing that was written off basically on the last attempt. And this is extra test equipment for Bray Lake. So we've been redoing this whole lot in a much better. So that's the Mobius video camera that is put on just for a Bray Lake test. And this is the things holding stuff again just for test on Bray Lake. The text-to-speech unit, so the computer can be heard speaking. The GPS logger to record the position second by second going around the lake, and of course everything is driven by solar panels. Yeah, lots of words and things. Pictures and videos often say a lot more. So this is the games room, and we hope to get this lot tidied up and things put in the right places. What I will show here is, yes, there are several other robot boats here. That was Eric's boat, which goes far faster because it's smaller, but not enough solar panels for Atlantic. And that was Alexei from Russia's bright idea. And old robot boats here. Materials, lots of materials, all to be put in the right place. And the fact they're in here at the moment is a temporary thing. Right, lots of words here, but it often captures information which wouldn't otherwise get. So this is the pond, and all the water off the roof flows into the pond. This is patio area. Again, recent thing on photo trails is the pond pump is being driven by solar panels backed up by mains power. There's the water squirter just gone off. That's only got water in it, by the way. That's probably my movement that's caused that, unless it was a plant going in front of it. And that's to deter the heron. We've got other... Yeah, that was me, I think. It's only water in it. I vouch for that. Yes, that was done a few years ago, but has been improved. So we got a temporary place for all the odds and ends that were dotted around the garden before we decide better places. And of course those mirrors help to reflect the heat and the light from the chimney. There's June's new barbecue, which we've been trying out recently. So a quick walk down the garden. Yes, Robin's old telescope, built the optics when he was still at school, and haven't done anything on it for years. That's now we're pointing out plants that are shooting up almost day by day. So that's June's greenhouse, that's Robin's workshop, that's wild fennel brought back from Sicily, lovely flavouring for things like pasta con sard, pasta with sardines. Coming down to basically a project being going on in the background, which is tweaking and improving the sundial. I'm not sure, I can't see very easily what the time is at the moment, but we've got that sundial, which is a conventional one, says, oh, coming up to 10 o'clock, 9, 9:45ish, looking at the direction of the shadow. And the direction of the shadow here is based on this globe here. So according to that, if you look at the direction, it's saying, well, it's going roughly that way. And yes, there's 9:45, but British Summer Time is an hour extra. So that's all being tweaked, as we say. Yes, I'll go down the garden this way. So all water off the roof flows into the top pond. When that is full, it flows down the stream into the next pond, so-called duck pond, but ducks have never taken an interest in it, and overflows down into the reservoir for the bog garden. And so things are flowering up, coming up here. There's Gunner romanticata, the giant rhubarb. There was one further back there, and hawthorn coming into flower, and that may encourage birds to nest in things like nesting boxes. And even when the hawthorn really gets going within several years, it'll they may nest in that. So this is the junk heap, compost heaps. So this stuff is fairly easy. What takes time is, yes, stuff like that is clearly going to be thrown, not all those containers, but the most important stuff, and where the time is taken, is sorting out all the, I'm going to look inside here briefly. So that was done several years ago, and some tools are there, but a better place will be where they can easily be found, and found by anybody. I don't think anybody's going to be stupid enough to come in and steal anything. So, for example, a lawnmower. There you go. Look down the garden and you find a lawnmower. There's other tools there. A lot of these things could be put in better places, but at least it's a step in the right direction. Yeah, June's little plant garden. Another accommodation for guard cats. Memento of our late pussycat Gingy, otherwise known as Fartalot, christened by Michelle. The laboratory, lots of tidying up, even though we've got the cupboards to put things. Yes, robot boat stuff, electronics, robot boats, Halloween stuff. And coming around, robot boats, there's the materials there, ready for making another one if we hadn't have got the other one back. Yeah, tools. And as I've said many times, it's a case of finding places to put things while you then decide what you throw away, keep, or give to somebody else. Yeah, so there's the workshop with stuff that you'll see being used, and there's a vise. And that was the last job, which was spraying those little pointers. There's lots of tidying up needed. Look around the corner, another little wild patch, you never know. Eventually, with time, birds or other animals, some animals already do take an interest. We get regular visits from hedgehogs, foxes, and of course birds, not nesting necessarily. Yes, this is going to be a long intro, but as I say, some of this material might be of use to guys who are going to help us or others, or at least perhaps decide not to make the same mistakes that Robin has. Here's June's greenhouse, another hawthorn tree growing there, coming round. Oh, it looks like somebody's just put something in the dustbin. Look where we keep stuff here. Yeah, that was June. So, oh, here's Bentley. So he's still on guard duty, aren't you, Bentley? Anything interesting happen? No, he said. Boring, really. Right, so I'll go back the route rather than try and get in through the front door. And so then we can run into that long photo trail, or photo trails, for basically this one is for the middle of May, and at the end there'll be some clips that were shot earlier, not so much early in the year but last year, on two subjects. One is a very important one, which is the prophetic words of James Lovelock about global warming. In short, it's going to happen. Main thing is doing what one can best to... Sorry about the interruptions of the robot boat. And the other topic is Robin's experience with the DVLA, the fact I still don't have my driving licence, which is all that's public information for those interested. Right, so now into those long photo trials. Sunday the 19th of May 2024, 14 and a half minutes of photos, including this 3.5 minute summary at the start. And this is not all the day, because it's been put together at the last minute, but the most important thing was their lovely picnic with the Bansells. And yes, there's a few pictures of that, and Romeo when we visited to meet up with them before we went off. And it was Runnymede Park, I think. I can't remember the name of it, but basically, yeah, lovely picnic. Really enjoyed ourselves there. Lovely weather, of course, and a lovely spot, which it's some years since we've been there. And yeah, the swans, yeah, and they come for food. And there was the mallard duck, I think, which is reminding me of a little project I have in mind. And yeah, little things of amusement. Went over to the cafe, got some ice creams, brought those back, and June pointed out that the double parking of cars had blocked cars in. Anyhow, we had no problem, so we're off back into Sunninghill, and yeah, past the Bansells and back home. And yeah, there's Toady, decided he's taken the laundry basket in the utility room. Looked at the time, yeah, June put out the washing. I had a quick look at the direction of the sun. Yeah, one of the little projects on the side. It only takes a few minutes at a time. The spot tracker, the SATCOMS tracker that is going in the robot boat, showed, for anybody interested, where exactly the car went. So that was good. June's GoTop white SOS tracker also worked well. However, of course, in the last day or two, my black tracker doesn't respond, and obviously we're waiting to see how on earth I pay for it to continue. Anybody interested could go to the AVL page on the site, and yeah, there's the really good salesman and good thing. So fingers crossed. I'm hoping that problem will quickly be sorted. Just simply give me the right information. Yeah, so recording the commentary for the day before in the same way I'm doing this for this one. And then there was a visit from Hamid. Yeah, I noticed he had a quick look at that at tennis club, and he kindly restrung her racket. That was an interesting conversation we had for the few minutes that he was here. And yeah, the water squirter was working well, kept going off. But I'm thinking one little project is putting a solar panel on it. June points out that the tennis she's watching is the men's final from Rome. Also showed me some things about Hamid. And yeah, so this isn't the end of the day, but that's the end of the summary. And the Comrades Club is where I might pop later this evening. So into the photos in the order they were shot. Yes, the robot boat first of all. Snoopy's robot boat went out into the garden, looking around the games room. Yes, very untidy. Stuff has to be put in the right places. And because when I shot this, I previously shot the introduction to the mid-May video photo trails. Yeah, there's the three wise robins, and that's a bright idea, putting that high-speed boat inside that duck. Don't know when I'll do it, but it's on the list. Glance at the study, and back into the kitchen, June's white GoTop SOS tracker. So we're about to go off to meet up with the bandsaws. That spot tracker that is destined for the boat, and the other trackers are in the car. So yeah, June's carefully making her way down to the village, and it's dead easy to park outside the bandsaws. So Belle came right, had a chat. Hello, Raj. And Romeo. Romeo wasn't coming with us on the picnic, but it was good to see him. So we spent a few minutes on the patio, and Belle showed us some videos. So yeah, Comrades Club across the road, and right, so it looks as though we're practically ready to go. And it turned out that they didn't have a problem with cars, so June and I went in our car and they went in Jazz's car, I think it was. Looking at the paper map, yeah, sun caught it a bit too much, but it shows the area we were going. And yeah, make sure the camera that I'm using didn't run flat, so I was charging that up. And so we're now off through the village, past Chapman's Ironmongers, past the Jade, used to be the Jade Fountain, past the school, past the course hall. So coming out of the village, and yeah, making our way out along the 329, I think it is. Yes, past the the ruins. Now on the A30, past. Oh, it's all too quick to remember. Yeah, and making our way, getting very close now. So that's the Magna Carta area out on the left, and we're getting close. We're on the road which runs back towards Windsor and into the car park, and I was very impressed. We thought car parking might be a problem, but there was lots of it, so it was very well organised. Obviously, yeah, found the suitable spot with a nice bit of shade if we needed it. Yeah, there's Robin and Jazz, there's Robin and Raj, and yeah, some boats coming past, people often waving. And yeah, lovely time. Yeah, and some swans, and Robin thought, I wonder if they'll come for food, and I picked a daisy or two, and they did. I didn't get all the pictures, but yes, that was a bit of fun. And there was a duck, I think that was a mallard duck, and that's the same type as the plastic one that I have. He says, yeah, he's probably saying, perhaps Robin could have a go on the those little things. Certainly Damon would be interested in them. And now we got the ice creams, and yes, June's pointing out the double parking, so we were just lucky where we parked, but yeah, paid for the parking. You've got to pay to get out. Not sure what happens if you don't, but of course there is a barrier there. And so we're now on our way back home. Yes, past the tractor and past a few places. Holloway College, I think, on the left. Yes, that looks like it. Royal Holloway College, I think it's called. And yeah, that's the used to be called the American School. It's called the International School on the left. Yeah, that place is gradually being built up. And yes, past the ruins. I think they came from Libya, coming into Berkshire, and past where June used to live, and getting much closer to Sunninghill. Yes, past Crossways where June's mum and dad lived before she was born, and the Maris School. Party in the Park. I think I'm going to miss that, unfortunately. Yeah, through the village, and yeah, past the Bansals, and we're making our way home because basically that was all the time we're going to have. June puts the roof up on the car, and of course I take a few snaps as usual. Going through, yeah, June comes in. Oh, there's Toadie. He'd been obviously spent hours sleeping in the laundry basket, and came out. I probably took the opportunity. Oh, I saw the water squirter going off. Whenever I moved outside, it was triggering it, and which shows how good it is. But of course, it'll run batteries flat quickly. So the solution might be a solar panel on it. Yeah, June put the washing out, and I used the chance to see you just about see a shadow there at about the right time, and the shadow is in the right direction. Yeah, so what else have we got here? Yeah, that is much clearer there. So, yeah, it only takes a few minutes to just adjust some numbers or pointers on the sundial. Sort of thing goes on in the background over a period. And now looking at the Spot Satcom's tracker, the very same one that's going in the boat that we're carrying in the car, anybody could look at it, and including the history of where it been and the exact spot where the car was parked. And it displays an address as well, which isn't bad. So anybody can look at that just by going to the Snoopy page. And now the other tracker is June's white SOS GoTop tracker. Uses the mobile phone network. Again, works brilliantly, so that's good. So then, sadly, my tracker, just for the last day or two, it's not responding, and we know what it is. It's simply, I should have got a link which will say, oh, you go there to the shop and pay for it. But anyhow, in slow time we might hear. So I'm waiting to hear from Alan of GoTop, and fingers crossed that problem will be sorted. Right, Saturday the 18th of May, so that's me recording yesterday's commentary, the same as I'm doing for today, Sunday. And then there was a visit from Hamid, June's friend from the Royal Ascot Tennis Club, and he kindly changed the strings on her racket, which I think he does for a few other friends in the club. So that was a lovely few minutes with him, because he came in and we went over a few details. Right, yeah, water squirter going off. Yes, getting me. Well, not getting me because it's directed not to hit me, but it's me that's triggering it. So solar panel, it's a pretty easy job to do, but I would say, yeah, probably take half an hour to an hour at a time. Valuable time. Yeah, again, whatever time that was, took like just past 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So put that on the table there as a reminder on the list of jobs to be done. Then, right, this is the larger video, which this will be the last day's worth on with a photo trail, so that will be loaded up tonight for processing and go onto YouTube. Oh yes, June found some information about Hamid, and yeah, I'm sure there's no problems, public stuff. Very interesting guy. Yeah, she points out that the tennis she's been watching is the from Rome, and it was a German versus a guy from Chile, and it seems the German won. And I think Samantha was pleased about that, allegedly, but my friend Roberto Sone in Chile might have thought otherwise. Anyhow, yes, so that's as much as we've got in the photo trail because the day is still young. Yes, as I said earlier, the day was young, so here are some more photos, including starting with the barbecue that June was rustling up. And yeah, so Samantha joined us, and water squirters going off, which is what they should be, but I noticed they were being triggered by vegetation, so I got the right tool for the job, which was a long stick, a long bit of bamboo, so that I could get to the, well, that was reeds, I think it was Aris that was interrupting it, and yeah, so I'm going backwards and forwards trying to move the plants are in the way. It seems to be a lot better now, so it's not being triggered by the plants waving about. Took a few snaps there, and yeah, so I think the food's practically ready, and of course several things on the go. I've got the mid-May video being processed. That took all night to process, and then of course upload onto YouTube. Right, it's adjusting the water squirter sensitivity for if I'm going out and doing any work. So work, if you call it that. Yes. So then the food rearranged appropriately. As I say, I'd make a pretty good chef. No, I wouldn't. And yeah, put the peanuts out. So that was the before and after. And probably wound the sensitivity back up on the water squirter. This is the heron. All seems to be looking good. I thought, a little bit of adjustment of the where the water comes out of the fountain. And June's watching that Italian drama, and I thought, right, time to top up the peanuts as the before and after. Do the closed circuit TV test for the night, or check. So running from midnight, yes, fox coming for the peanuts on the front porch, and also a fox, may or may not be the same one, coming round the back, and a hedgehog. Yes, a younger fox, that one, I think. And oh, an owl, yes. I'm not sure if that's the same one. It's a relatively small one. People looking at it would recognise, and it was looking down, hoping to get a mouse, but the location where the mice come was occupied the fox, so the owl just flew off. And yes, so there's Toadie hoping for a mouse as well, and there's the little baby fox that has appeared on it for a few days, and he's obviously coming around on his own. And there's another fox, whether it's a relative I don't know. 0352 GMT, 4:52 in the morning is where the camera's switched to colour for the day, and so we're now going back from midnight. So similar visitors, including foxes and hedgehogs, and our cat Toadie, and he was, yeah, there's a little baby fox. So this was before midnight, and there is another fox leaving, probably because that hedgehog had arrived. And that looks like a hedgehog on the top bridge. And yes, so that's back to 2015 GMT, 9:15 when the cameras switched, 9:15 BST. So that's pretty well it. Oh no, it's not. I decided, because it was a Sunday, I would go down to the Comrades Club to stretch my legs and enjoy a 0% Peroni. Yes, a few snaps just to give you a flavour of the place, taken carefully. And there was golf on. Oh yes, and yeah, some family video, not video, WhatsApp conversation. Just and then a lovely long phone call with Paul. That was lovely. And then made my way back. So getting relatively late now. Yes, and that's 37.5% processing. I think I decided it would be the next day. So that's the end of the photo trail. Monday the 20th of May 2024, 11.5 minutes of photos, including this 2.5 minute summary at the start. Yeah, a lot happened that day. Various conversations and yes, Toady and things, but and also yeah, processing of the videos. That was actually the YouTube video becoming public. And the lovely thing was the video chat with Amanda of Mr. Track, and that was absolutely fantastic. And you never know what it might lead to. There was a 42-minute video chat. Spoke about all sorts of things, and it was mostly business and people helping each other, including those who may be in competition. Yeah, so a bit of work on the background. June helped with the printer. I was printing out something, which and yeah, barbecue towards the back end of the day. Yes. And what else? Oh yes, I decided to pop down to the Comrades Club, even though it wasn't a Sunday. And yeah, enjoyed the atmosphere and a bottle of 0% Peroni. And yes, it was horse racing from Windsor, I think. So spent a little bit of time there. Then popped into Tesco and bought a load of cornets, basically flakes. Came back and yeah, made sure that they squeezed into the fridge, but had one for myself. Sat in the naughty corner in the lounge where I could do the closed circuit TV check. And yes, foxes coming for the peanuts and the hedgehogs, and interesting interaction between them, particularly when you've got the two, and also yes, fox sharing the peanuts with a hedgehog, and a little mouse. Got a glimpse of one of those because Toady was out the back, not looking in the right place, and a bat came over, so got a glimpse of that. And yes, and Toady watches a hedgehog come up for peanuts, triggering the PIR, and out live there was a fox, and June's watching whatever that is. So time for bed, and that's the end of the summary. So now into the photos and the order they were shot, and of course the mid-May 2024 photo trail had processed overnight on YouTube, and it was there with subtitles. June had a chat with, I think it might have been Saskia, I don't know, or my sister, and yes, taking these pictures as the opportunity, including Toady prowling around. Yeah, the water squirter, it's on the list of things to do, but it's working very well. The only thing to do on that is probably to put some solar power on it so the batteries don't run flat. And yeah, looks like Toadie's up to mischief there. No, he's not, he's just having a drink. That bit of junk there hasn't been tidied up. So going down the garden, yes, sun's out just after 10 o'clock British summer time, which is 9 o'clock in the morning GMT. So an opportunity to look at the direction of the shadow, and that looks about right. The globe throws a shadow, and that is about 10 BST. So those markings are gradually getting adjusted. So walking down the garden, taking a few snaps. This won't be that different from the last photo trail, but things are gradually growing. So there's the bog garden down the far end, and now walking round to looking up the tree. Lots of plants are growing up that nicely, and no occupant of that pigeon box. And yeah, June's tracker, so that, what do we got here? Yes, similar pictures as been for sometimes the battle damage on the camper that was used to take Snoopy's robot boat down the coast. And around there, the somewhere to keep the dustbins. Right, so that looks like, yes, June and Samantha are off, and So we're using the opportunity to check trackers, such as the spot tracker that's going in Snoopy's robot boat. Yes, sorry about those photos. That was a birthday present nearly 4 years ago from June. And so looking at the trackers now, June's SOS Go Top tracker still works well, and anybody could look at that. But mine is responding like that. We hope that problem will get addressed. It's it's just a case of the right company pointing me. Now that was completely different but very overlapping. Another company in the same sort of business in China, and a lovely few emails exchanged, and that developed later. So yeah, so the women are back, and I knew about it from the trackers, and I'm checking now the trackers, including June's Go Top, which is still working. Yes, that's the website that's got all this stuff on it, and they're putting their shopping away. And yeah, so that's June's Go Top tracker, and that's working as it should. And then we had a lovely, it was a 42-minute video chat with Amanda Liu in Shenzhen, and yeah, I'm sure she won't mind these pictures appearing here tucked away. And there's hubby, and we also saw a young 7-year-old boy, but I haven't included the picture there. And yeah, I was working on something else which will get published in due course, and I wanted to print it out to see how it would print, and the printer was playing up, so June showed how to get that working. And yeah, it was just a matter of knowing how to do it, and she already had the black ink. It was getting low. That wasn't the problem. The paper had jammed in it. It was a question of how you put it out and how to get a large pair of pliers to get to it. But anyhow, put things back, so that was well done. It's like back in the kitchen, Toadie's decided to have, probably that might be lunch. So that's what I was working on. And yes, so we get into the end of the day, barbecue. June's cooking up sausages and a few other things. And so, yeah, Toadie's having an evening meal by the look of it. Yes, imaginative plate there. I could have been a chef, I suppose. No, probably not. And yeah, so yeah, there's the robot boat. No real work on it that day, not directly on the boat. Ah yes, I decided to get a bit of exercise and walk down to the village. And that lorry's been there for quite a time, don't know why. And go into the Comrades Club, and yeah, so I had my 0% Peroni, and yeah, a few snaps just to show the place. And on the television it was live from Windsor, and I think that was the horse racing, we know it, and that surprised me when it said Thistledown, because I looked that up, and maybe that's the name of the course, I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So then I popped across the road to the Tesco Express and got myself a couple of boxes of ice cream cornets, made my way back home, and yes, June was in the kitchen. She advised me on squeezing those 3 boxes into the 2 boxes and one that was already there into the fridge. So then doing the closed circuit TV check by the look of it now, running from midnight forward. Yes, hedgehog coming for the peanuts, front porch, and also a hedgehog coming on the top bridge, on the just out the back. And there's the one there. These aren't all the visits, but you get interesting little things like what looked like a tussle between a more dominant hedgehog. I don't think it was a yeah, it was sort of pushing. You see the legs. You don't often see a hedgehog's legs poke out like that. And so I think he was saying the peanuts are all for me. Whereas the fox comes in, he's got more sense to that. And there's a glimpse of a mouse. And very, very fast, but there were just several frames so you could just about recognise what it was. It was the movement. And that's where the camera switched to 0350 GMT. That's 4:50 in the morning to colour for the day. So I'm now running back from midnight. There's Toadie watching for mice. There's a fox coming for peanuts. And there's me returning from the Commerce Club. There's the bat. And yeah, a few frames shot across while Toadie was on guard duty hoping to catch a mouse. But in fact watching a hedgehog coming up. And there's me, because this is in reverse, going off to the Comrades Club, and that's when the camera switched at 2020 GMT to black and white for the night. And then live out the window was a fox after the peanuts. And yeah, so there's, looks like it's getting close to time for bed, so just checking out. June's doing the usual, playing a video game and watching the TV. I go up so I can watch a bit of TV upstairs, and that's the end of the photo trail. Tuesday the 21st of May 2024, less than 14 minutes of photos, including this 3-minute summary at the start. Yes, several times cats were found in the washing baskets, Bentley on guard duty, and yeah, glimpses of the robot boat and the games room and the garden, and yes, processing of videos and things, women going off to tennis and being tracked as a means of checking out the trackers, including the white go-top tracker that does work, and also the one of mine which doesn't at the moment. That's a problem that hopefully will be sorted in China. And yes, the Spot Satcoms tracker from the States, that works well. Very expensive of course, but it's good. And I knew with the fact it was addressed to Wobbin that early birthday present was from my sister Sally. Yes, a t-shirt, yes, with my contact detail. Oh, and what is almost certainly a scam, and it was a bit of fun, didn't take more than a few minutes to track down. Yes, within a short drive of, as by coincidence, NATO headquarters. No connection of NATO, but a few friends in that area. Yeah, so women are back from tennis, and June's tracker's still working well. And yes, there's Bentley in there, and there's a visit from the fishmonger, one of the fishmongers. And yeah, June's pointing out that Toadie is now sleeping in the washing basket in the utility room. So I'm doing stuff. Yes, that was lunch. I had a Cornish pasty, reminded of a card that I had on my study wall. June's basically looking for bits and pieces like wires and cables and things for our holiday, the kits in the camper. That looks like evening dinner. Yes, helped by Toadie, I was working on a draft CV, Correctum Vitae. Hadn't written one of those for I don't know how many decades, probably at the end of the 70s. Listening to the Radio 4 news, June's watching the BBC news for the priest and hedgehogs. This is just a flavour. And on the back, on the top bridge, just outside the back door, or the patio door. And yeah, so time for bed. So that's the end of the summary. Now the photos in the order they were shot, starting with Bentley on guard duty looking out of the front window, and yeah, a few snaps into the games room, the robot boat, which is getting very close to being ready to make a Bright Day test before an Atlantic attempt. Then took the opportunity to go into the garden. Yes, most of the things seem to be working, including the water squirter, very sensitive. You walk out the door and it goes off. In the utility room, yes, at that time is Bentley, relaxing or even sleeping. I've woken him up, I'm afraid. Yes. Well, what else you've got to do when you're busy, pussycat? Yeah, so get on with processing of videos, a bit like I'm doing right now. Recording a commentary, that was. And June's Go Top tracker, that one's still working, it hasn't timed out yet. And yes, there's the website. Was business decades ago, as I often say. So the women are off to play tennis. I go back, take a few snaps at the front. Yes, that lawn is coming up nicely. The patches that were moss seem to be growing. I'll get round to cutting it at some time. Yes, Toadie decided to follow me in. I thought, why not put the peanuts out? They go very, very quickly, including topping up the bird feeder as an alternative, so birds don't risk getting caught by a cat going down for the peanuts on the ground. And look, they've all gone from the top bridge, so top those up. And animals and birds come, yes, and that high bird feeder over the so-called duck pond, top that up. No ducks, of course, but it seemed a bright idea. And plants are coming up, including that invasive one, but, well, in moderation, I guess it's okay. Yes, put some feed out for the fishes. They're tending to feed more now the water's warmed up. And what are we doing now? Oh yes, checking the tracker. Yeah, there they are at the Royal Ascot Tennis Club. No surprise there. Anybody could see. They just tap or click on the white Go Top tracker. However, the black one, for a few days now, it's not working, and I just need to be able to be told where to send some money to top it up, or rather switch it back on. Makes business sense, of course, what's happening there, but fine. Right. That was the spot tracker, I think, the Satcoms tracker. That was working fine. Right, some stuff has arrived. But looking at the address, it says Wobbin Lovelock. I know who that was, who sent that. That would be my sister on the family page. And that's Sally there. That's my younger sister. And that's what it says on it. It's a t-shirt. Contact details for bonkers scientist. Anyhow, that was more a music one, although rather serious. 2 copies, as it turned out, arrived. Very convincing looking letter, and of course it might have been genuine, but it didn't take very long to find out the directors of the company that had sent it, and of course there were a number of them, and one of them didn't disclose their nationality or where they lived. So I thought that sounds more interesting. And of course you get coincidences here, but in the middle of Brussels, a short drive from NATO headquarters, was a company trading under the same family name. Probably a coincidence. But anyhow, yes, there's overlaps there. Anyhow, that's what's next. Yeah, I was probably indicating that was a long time ago. Oh yes, looking out the window, there was a squirrel feeding on the peanuts. Yeah, a couple of them, and if I moved slowly, it didn't frighten them. So it was just out the other side of the robot boat with Snoopy on it. So what have we got next? Oh yes, that was the women. Looks as though they're on their way back. The updates, those Go Top trackers are very good, in the software that backs them up is good as well. If it didn't time out and you had to pay for it, I don't mind. But just haven't been able to find their shop. Right, so the women are back. There's the tracker that's still working for the moment. It'll probably be okay for a few more days, because at least it says when it's going to time out. Well, probably people don't realise that, but it doesn't matter. Right. Yes, and that's working fine in terms of the information displays. Very good. Oh, and then there's Bentley. Yes, in the washing basket. Hello, Bentley. Go back and there. Yeah, processing the video for the previous day, a bit like I'm doing right now. And yes, fishmonger turned up, and yes, there's Bentley in the front porch, I think that was. Oh, and then she points out, oh, there's Toady had decided to occupy that washing basket in the utility room. And what's next? Looks like it's getting in for lunchtime. Yes, so that reminded me, I had a pasty, reminded me of the card that's been up on my study wall for decades. Yes, and I thought, go in there, get my wig, Rastafarian wig that I seem to remember using not that many decades ago. June's going in the camper looking for bits and pieces that we need to take. There could be things like battery pack chargers and cables and clothes, I guess, maybe the odd laptop, possibly maps, I don't know. So she's gathering that stuff very sensibly, so we're ready for our holiday in Sicily that's coming up. Yes, anybody can know about that. They can probably even track us. And yes, there's 2 pussycats in the utility room. They found a washing basket each, so that's Bentley, that's Toady, and that seems to be a good solution. So then I think June shot a video and put it on her YouTube channel. Oh yeah, she sent it on the family WhatsApp group first of all, and yeah, and then I looked and the video was already there. It was less than a minute and it already had subtitles with automatic translation because a few words were being said at the time. Yeah, June's doing women's work there, ironing. Oh yes, and that's an activity that I've been in the background. I've been working up a draft CV, but yeah, June helped on the making sure the printer worked for printing it out, because you can't beat a bit of paper. Right, putting out the peanuts, or topping up again, because they go through the day as well. So it's obviously getting late in the day. Yes, took a wander down the garden, see if anything different there. Nothing really. Things are still growing. Back through the house, the front porch, lots of peanuts there. There's Toady, decided to help me when I was looking at prinouts of the CV to look at layout and everything else, and trying to reduce the number of pages. And yeah, so you've got a glimpse of what it was at the time I took those pictures. Yes, well, coming along. Listen to the Radio 4 news. Then June came through, was watching the BBC News, so with that going on in the background, and I watched some of it, and some of it was going on in the background when I did the closed circuit TV check. So that's coming forward from midnight. Not all the visits, but typical foxes of different ages, and the hedgehog. There's several hedgehogs, and there's a little mouse. And they're very difficult to see, but you get a glimpse of them, and those frames you just about recognise. It looks as though he's standing up. I didn't realise mice did that, standing up to eat a peanut, a bit like we see the squirrels doing. That was 03:54 GMT, 4:54 in the morning BST, and so I'm going backwards from midnight now, and there we got a fox and a hedgehog eating peanuts at the same time, being careful. There is a fox on the top bridge just outside the lounge patio door, and there's Toady hoping to catch a mouse on the top bridge through till 2021 GMT when the camera switched to black and white for the night. So that was that closed circuit TV check done. Yeah, so weather, time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Wednesday the 22nd of May 2024, 10.5 minutes of photos, including this 2.5 minute summary at the start. Yeah, starting with Bentley in the washing basket, and a little bit of progress on the robot boat in terms of knowing what to do next. It was basically related to squeezing that GPS logger in, which is a bit bigger than the one before, and ordering the right connectors so it can plug in to be topped up with power. Oh yes, printing off a draft CV, which I hadn't done for years, I think the end of the 70s, but anyhow, and problems with the printer as well, which come up later. Yeah, rain coming in, and June has taken a walk down to the Bansals, and I've joined her for coffee, cake and interesting chat, and of course interacting with their dog Romeo. And yeah, some interesting video shown, including with subtitles in Hindi, just to check that it can be done. Yeah, got back, drive myself out of it. Yes, there's Bentley still in the washing basket in the utility room, and yeah, June's tracker's working fine, and yeah, so I'm having trouble with the printer through the day, which is a bit annoying, because I was printing off that draft CV. Anyhow, I hasten to add that I'm certainly not in the process of looking for a job. Anyhow, I went out hoping there might be a rainbow, that it wasn't, because the rain shower had gone through. So that's that draft, and I see I already had one of my friends visited it, and yeah, news and stuff on, doing the closed circuit TV check in the evening, hedgehogs and foxes coming for the peanuts at the front porch, sometimes together, and yes, little foxes as well, growing bigger day by day. So I found the interaction between animals interesting. There's a hedgehog coming for the peanuts on the rear patio, and yes, so June's watching the news, time for bed, so that's the end of the summary at the start. Now in the photos in the order they were shot, including June pointing out, yes, Bentley's in his favourite position in the morning, which is sleeping in the laundry basket in the utility room. And yeah, took a look at the boat. There's not a great deal of work to be done on it, and the main thing is, if you lift the lid, it's the GPS logger. Now I couldn't get the same type that we're using already, had been using for years, the I Got You, but that one I know was tested a year or two back, and it was just a question of where can we squeeze it in. And what I recognised is to plug it into power, which is solar powered, so that it wouldn't go flat. Oh yes, there was a squirrel. Yes, and yeah, breakfast, scrambled egg on toast. Oh, that would be lunch, I should think. Yes, that would be lunch. Yes, so I ordered those, which should be arriving soon. Quick delivery, we'll see, fingers crossed. So that means things can proceed on the boat. And yes, Bentley's still there in his washing basket, printing off that draft CV, and that was the problem that I was getting. And June helped me with it, but basically in some ways the software was very good handling the Canon printer, in terms of telling you what to look at, how to top up ink and things. But of course it used the opportunity to say, oh yes, why not buy some more ink, and of course through a particular route, which is fair enough. Yeah, so that's the position of the tracker wasn't bang on, but of course I knew where it was. Took a look at the rain radar. Yeah, looks as though we got rain, mostly drizzle. So yeah, left Toady guarding the house, set off. Yes, it was drizzling, so I was in danger of getting a bit damp. It wasn't too bad going down there. So into the house. Yes, there's Romeo. Hello, Romeo. And yes, it It was basically coffee, some looks like some cake, and I asked Val to check out the Hindi subtitles automatically on the video that June had put up on her YouTube channel. Just a short one, less than a minute. Very good though. It was of the cats in the washing baskets. Yeah, so got back, dried myself out a bit. Just my hair got a bit wet. And yes, Bentley's still in the washing basket. Hello, Bentley. So what was next? Oh yes, well, June's tracker is fine. In fact, it's showing her the right position. And went back. Yes, did a bit of work on that, but only in the last few days. And I thought, well, you may as well print out copies for lots of reasons. You can look at the layout on the screen, but at the end of the day, important, and of course most annoying, and came back to that later in the day. So that looks like, well, that would be evening dinner. So I took that into the naughty corner to eat that, but of course various other things are going on after eating the dinner, which is the problem with the Canon, and June came in and helped on that, and the instructions on it were very good. What was funny is we went through the process of thinking, well, yeah, we'll follow their instructions and try and order some, even though we did have enough ink. And the instructions, yeah, so I tried that out. Yeah, accepted all their cookies. And what was amusing is that it didn't have amongst its cookies the details of the particular model of printer, even though it knew it enough to put the instructions up, but not the ordering. So we went through the process of trying to do that, and at the end of the day, I expect there was a problem. June had suggested restarting the computer, so we'll check it out. Bit glum. June's doing her usual, and I'm having pudding, I suppose you might call that, and doing a few other things, checking around. Looks like the rain is, yes, that was a heavy shower. It showed correctly having come through, so that Met Office site worked well. And then it was clearing, even got blue sky. So I went in the garden hoping I might catch a rainbow. There wasn't, but you never know. And used the opportunity to take a few snaps. Yes, the water level had come up a bit, not overflowing, but it had risen due to the rain off the roof. So took a walk down the garden, and yes, the Gun Romantica's coming up. A lot of these things would have been shown in the earlier photo trails, but sometimes you see something different. Then I looked at the visits to the online CV, where a few friends had been given the link, and that had come up. David had seen that, and right, bit blurred because it's getting darker. Switch to flash and you get a clearer picture. Right, June's in the lounge now, watching the news. Closed circuit TV check. This is the photos, starting with the hedgehogs and the fox that come into the front porch. Not all the visits, as I often say. There's a hedgehog and a fox. Hedgehog tends to take priority for some reason. Just a matter of being careful not to get your nose prickled. So that's running from midnight forward. Yes, a hedgehog looks as though he chased the fox off there. Yeah. As I say, these aren't all of the, visits or incidents or whatever you call it, but the typical ones. Yeah, they were quite friendly, those foxes, but the other one decided to wait his turn. Now getting 0408 GMT, camera switch to colour for the day. That'd be 0508. And going back from midnight, going backwards. Yeah, same sort of pattern. Hedgehogs, including on the top bridge, just outside the lounge patio door. And Robin putting peanuts out. So the camera's switching there at 2012 GMT, that's 2112 BST for black and white for the night. And Toadie's come in to watch the TV and relax, and time for bed, so that's the end of the photo trail. Thursday the 23rd of May 2024, less than 14 minutes of photos, including this 2.5 minute summary at the start. Yes, first photos were Bentley relaxing in the washing basket in the utility room, and the robot boat got a bit of work done on it. In fact, the last remaining work before testing. Put the peanuts out. They'd practically all gone the night before and during the day as well. Took a look down through the garden, and I found that had fallen down, which is basically, I'm not sure what knocked it down. It's an easy job, but got to be done sometime, putting it back up in the tree. Yeah, Toadie's on guard duty, and bang on his ETA, Stuart arrives to drive to the pub, and the lads arrive. So we're off to the Red Lion at Lightwater. As people know, my favourite pub at the moment. And yes, lovely artwork on the wall. Enjoyable food, but much more important conversation on a number of topics. And then we leave the pub and off back to Sunninghill. Yes, past all the gasworks going on. And back home, I pop in to check a few things, including email. And there's been an arrival from RS. I bought half a dozen of those little USB sockets, and later in the day I was able to do basically the remaining hardware work on the boat. It's all a matter of testing now, so fingers crossed it'll be okay. And so later in the day, Jim's rustled up dinner. I take it into the naughty corner in the lounge, and then I notice, oh, the bird feeder on the roof needs topping up, so I did that. And did the closed circuit TV check for the night before, running from midnight forward, and there's a little mouse as well as the hedgehog before it, and there's a fox, all coming for the peanuts, and hedgehogs coming to the top bridge just outside the patio door. There's two hedgehogs. It was interesting to see the interaction between them. And there's even a little mouse. I think that was live after on the patio roof. I say patio roof, on the extension roof. There's Toadie, so we're all relaxing. June's watching television, so time for bed. So that's the end of the summary. So now into the photos in the order they were shot, starting with Bentley in the washing basket in the utility room. And yes, he likes that spot, so does Toadie, but they were two washing baskets, so the previous day I think we had both of them in there at the same time. So then going back through the games room into the garden, yes, practically all the peanuts are gone, and that arm had got moved, so put everything back, topped up the peanuts. Water squirter was going off as it should do. Put out some feed for the fishes, got glimpses of the fishes as well, and a few snaps. Took the opportunity to take a few pictures down the garden, or take the pictures while I was checking things. So the Gunnerer Monte Carlo's coming up nicely, and then I saw that. I'm not sure what had knocked it down. Obviously I hadn't put it up very securely. Should be a simple thing to put it back up when there's time to do it. And yes, the hawthorn's coming along nicely, and yeah, just a few snaps around the garden, basically keeping a record of how things are growing, and making my way back up past the sundial globe. Sun wasn't out, but there's all little jobs to be done based on when things arrive. Onto the patio, back into the games room, the robot boat. Put the peanuts out at the front. They're completely all gone. All sorts of things come during the day. Top up that bird feeder in the porch to encourage birds not to go down onto the ground and be vulnerable to pussycats like Toady. So yes, I'm doing it the same commentary that I'm doing now, but for the day before, the Wednesday. Oh yes, now printing. Now the printer seems to work now, I think. Or I think June got it working later in the day. Yeah, so at that time the printer wasn't working, but June managed to get it working later. And what are we doing now? Probably relaxing. Yeah, looked at that. Needs topping up, but perhaps later. Coming up to 12 o'clock, midday. So I'm all ready for the lads arriving, and sure enough, there's Stuart in his car, who's going to be chauffeur, and not only Stuart, but the other lads arrive as well. And one of the topics of discussion was what I think was a scam document that arrived. Anyhow, we're on their way to Lightwater and to the Red Lion pub. Parking was easy on that occasion, wasn't too crowded. Yeah, and I I love those bits of and the banter when we're discussing things. And yeah, so there's a little record of what we're all eating, different things according to taste. And yeah, that's the back, looking at the back. Please do not climb on railings. I think that's a notice for pensioners rather than children. Yeah, so yes, going past a few landmarks, including my surgery, Half Moon pub, so work being going on that. On the way to Sunninghill, past the gasworks. Gasworks, wrong word. The gas piping being laid. So coffee and bickies are around at Richard and Faye's, but I popped down because yes, there's Toady guarding the premises, just to check things like emails that come in. And yes, there was some posts for me from RS, which are the components, the little USB sockets. They intended to go on a printed circuit card, but very easy. I was able to use them in the way I intend, and basically providing power to the GPS logger, the remaining bit of equipment to be put in the robot boat. So back up for coffee. Yes, Toady, you can keep an eye on the house. And yeah, so interesting conversation. That's Theacat. Looks a bit like that's June. Bad timing of the photo. Yes, because she got back from wherever it was as well, and her tracker is still working well. Showed her trip to tennis, because so that's working well still, but it's because it's not yet reached the period of time, yes, back here showed that well, where those trackers are timing out. Anyhow, back to the robot boat. The Bentley came in, decided to have a look round, and yes, so what are you up to, Bentley? Looking at the work I'm doing on the robot boat. Now that's the spot tracker that's going in the robot boat, but it's carried around in June's cars to check it. Anybody could look at where it is just by going to the Snoopy page, and that's working fine. June managed to get the printer working, and yes, I got an interesting email from police, Neighbourhood Watch, and yeah, June's likes a video game as well, as she multitasks, does that and watches tennis being played. Right, so we still have got an outstanding problem with one of the hostings. Fingers crossed they'll be able to fix it. So I've continued that process of sending them a reminder, and where I've got extra information. The COVID, I call it the COVID, is the COVID page has got the graph of total death. So now I'm looking up to get the right connections. It's only 2 pins I need to use on the socket that provides power. So I just put a bit of red and black plastic over the 2 pins I'm going to use, and the other pins I just snip short. Check the voltage and checked it with one of the loggers, and it all seems to be okay in terms of power. There's me with a soldering iron. So now I'm soldering a suitable place for the, so you can see there with the pictures. So I'd already found a spot that logger would squeeze into the box, and now we've got the socket there with power to it, all solar powered of course. And June said, I've rustled up dinner for the evening, and so I take that into the naughty corner where I can relax in a much more comfortable chair, eat and look at the closed circuit TV. And of course I saw, yes, that bird feeder had completely been eaten up, and those tickets intended for red kites have been thrown out. I noticed their grapes are coming along. Anyhow, that's as the same thing appears on the closed circuit TV, which is how I noticed that it needed topping up. Looking around the side, I thought, where's the peanuts? All peanuts. And yeah, sure enough, we had pretty well used them up. So June ordered some more, and then of course sent me a PayPal money request, which I had to pay £57.85 for the 2 bags of peanuts I think that June's ordered. Should come in a few days. Right, that's probably doing the closed circuit TV check for the night. Yes, including a little mouse. Get glimpses of him, and the foxes and the hedgehogs eating up the peanuts very quickly. They were practically gone early in that night, after midnight. And there's a glimpse of a little mouse, very small, but you can scuttle it. And there's a fox. Yes, it's often with all these animals, it's their eyes that you see. So that was until 03:53 GMT when the camera switched to colour for the day. So I'm now running from midnight back. Yeah, similar things. Foxes and hedgehogs, both at the front porch and the top bridge just outside the patio door. That's a hedgehog. There's 2 hedgehogs, and yes, there was an interesting process. I think one must have been the dominant hedgehog pushing the other one out the way, so that he had all the peanuts for himself. So that was until 2021 GMT when cameras switched to black and white for the night. Then live I saw a little mouse on the flat roof. Very small, but you could see it. There's Toadie who's come in to relax. June's still watching TV and off to bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Friday the 24th of May 2024. 11 minutes of photos, including this 2-minute summary at the start. Yes, glimpses of pussycats as you would normally see them. A lot happened that day, and in fact the video ends, or this photo trail ends before the end of the day, because I wanted to get it off. Anyhow, yes, good progress, practically finished a portable version of the GPS logger that's going into the robot boat. Needs to be checked, but I had 2 of them anyhow, so that one can be used for testing. And yes, June's at tennis with Samantha. Check the tracker, and of course my tracker's not working, and I'm hoping that will be sorted from China. The nitty gritty has been in several of the photo trails, but yeah, it's probably just a very minor thing, and yeah, hopefully Alan will sort it. Gary came round to work on June's car, and he also popped round and sorted Stuart's after. Yeah, and yes, that was a little job I did, which is that bird feeder that had fallen down out of the tree. I repaired the dome that is to protect it from squirrels going up, but then the question is, where's the best place to put it? Up the tree it was, or the cherry tree, and in fact I decided on the cherry tree and didn't have to do very much to get it up there. May not be a perfect job, but it probably do. Make sure tools go back in the right places. Yeah, June's having a snack, and that was on the WhatsApp family group. Samantha boasting about the cake she's making for tomorrow. Apparently tomorrow's a special day. And yeah, that's the cake. It should be taken round. And yeah, so I'm wrapping up the summary there. And so here's the photos that were taken on that day in the order they were shot. And I guess it's possible some stuff will get tagged on the end. It's just a question of when. So yes, there's the robot boat, and yes, there's the garden, nice weather, and yeah, there's the GoTop White SOS tracker working well, which June and Samantha, but mine unfortunately doesn't work. It's timed out, and we know exactly that happens after, I think it's 377 days after purchase. Just a question of finding out where the shop is, or getting somebody to top up the tracking license. Yeah, anyhow, that's working. That's the spot tracker that's going in the boat. Fingers crossed my tracker will get sorted. And of course it's not just that one. I've got several GoTop trackers that have all got the same problem. And yeah, so that was the video. They're back from their tennis. Surprise, surprise, they're watching tennis on the telly. And yes, the tracker shows them. That's it, that's close enough. So that's good. Oh yes, and just to remind you again, my tracker, I get that. The good thing is that, yeah, Alan, excellent sales guy with support as well to get those things working. That's me putting a voice commentary on the day before, and I'm looking at, obviously giving a bit of thought. So I'm looking for emails in terms of paying GoTop from eBay, so that perhaps I can do something like send them a payment, and it might it might give them a reminder to look at my emails and at least communicate with me. But of course there could be lots of reasons for not getting replies. I just hope they're all well there. Yeah, so that's the email. Send another email. Wow, that's Gary arriving to work on the oil leak in Samantha's, that's June's car. And so yeah, good work being done there. And of course when he gets a chance, conversation. Oh yeah, that arrived for the post, which was the election material for the Lib Dems, I think, or Liberals. Yeah, and lots of things happening. You can always stop it and look at the text if you're interested in the nitty gritty. I wouldn't be. So that's me working on that little fiddly job, and I decided rather than to use those connectors, I just do straight soldering, and then of course end up sealing it with smelly resin. There's yeah, because all these things are happening together. Yeah, so that's a selfie of Gary and myself. Then Gary pops round to Stuart. I spoke to Stuart just for a moment, and yeah, there's Toadie. That grass will be cut sometime or other when I have the time, and that's progressing along nicely. And of course, question of what materials you use. So now insulating those bits of wire with PVC tape, and then structurally, yeah, putting PVC tape over it. And then I thought, yes, a bit of polystyrene the right shape, so it's effectively, when it's put somewhere, wherever, the windowsill of the car, yeah, so the women are off. There's June's white SOS Go Top tracker. There's the Spot Satcoms tracker, the very same one that is going in the boat. And yeah, so there's me using silicon sealant, I think, on that little job of making a portable version of the GPS logger that's going in the boat. Yes, the Spot Satcoms tracker is working well, and yes, anybody could see where it is, so no problem with that. Then checking June's tracker, yes, there we go. And yeah, so basically I get a bit of warning if they come back, if I'm not busy doing something else. And fingers crossed, my tracker, oh, that was a, well, some people say it was a scam call. I think it was somebody just earning a crust trying to make sales, but at the end of the day, it was didn't matter. I could tell from the voice and everything that it was probably some distance away rather than Slough, which is the code that their system imitated if it wasn't for real. So yeah, so that's the right, doing repairs. That dome needs to be fixed together, so I'm thinking, oh, how could I do that? And yeah, also use the chance to put the peanuts out. And in fact, it may or may not be at the end of this photo trail or some future photo trail for today, but we've got a solution for the, better than just putting the peanuts on the porch on the floor, basically a peanut feeder, which is a bit of PVC tube. But anyhow, coming back to the bird feeder, basically I used outside sellotape, and then of course those screws were stopping me sliding the pole into that, and that also needs to be trimmed. I ended up using because the other one was a bit blunt, having used an old hacksaw blade. So basically that's it. So yes, a bit hot, so I changed what I was wearing, a bit cooler, put things back in the right place so I can find them again, or anybody who's doing similar work would know where to look if they'd looked at the video perhaps. And thinking, where does it go? And I decided, I'll put it in up the cherry tree as opposed to the Lirhodendron tulip tree where it was. Looks like yes, I was interrupted to take some pictures of Bentley messing about. So take it down the garden. Stupid Robin dropped it and broke half the bird perch that was there, but the other one was still there, so left it. Put the saw back. Oh no, took the saw out in order to cut that branch out of the way. It's only a little branch, but it stopped the feeder getting into a suitable position. It's close to vertical. And yeah, just took a few snaps of the other bird feeder related stuff, including the hawthorns growing. Oh yes, I trod on that iris, so I just pushed the leaf back. And that was the little branch I saw off, but again I just broke off by hand the extra little branches as a routine of trying to make sure everything on the compost heap is short. Much more compact then. Yeah, oh, that's what June's eating, and that's the cake sent on the family WhatsApp group by Samantha. And there's that little portable version of the logger, and it's getting late, so it's 4:30 or so. So I'm going to wrap up this trail with pictures of the cakes, and it's possible it ends up something after it, but probably not. So that's the end of that photo trail, probably. I said it would be a long set of photo trails. Did warn you. Right, so we're about to go into that material shot early in the year. I normally start from about here. Yes, there's Toadie, our guard cat, having a late breakfast, I would imagine. Hello, Toadie. And June's just doing a bit of washing up because we're getting ready to go out with the Bansals pretty soon. And yes, that was done a little while ago. Temporary mirrors, but at least you get a better view of things like the trees and the wildlife. Right, holidays including Sicily. Yes, we'll be going off to that fairly soon. And into the hall. Yes, hello Toadie. What are you up to? And yeah, you patrol the premises. I expect you end up sleeping somewhere. And so this is a little camera that's being used. You'll get glimpses of the expensive Renoir painting. And I think the earlier material started at about here. Now what I put on the screen, because global warming is in itself, it's something that's been on my grumpy page for years. The remarkable James Lovelock, who passed away on the 26th of July, his 103rd birthday. I'll read out what this says here. This has been on the grumpy page for years, not long after the publication of his book, Revenge of Gaia. We can't stop global warming, but we may delay it by a few decades to give us time to prepare for its effects. Vast areas of the world, including as close as continental Europe, becoming arid desert, shrinking of habitable areas of the planet to much smaller parts of the planet, closer to the poles. The Earth will then only be able to support a small fraction of its present population, and there will be a need for massive migration. Places like the UK will remain temperate a little longer, so be an attractive destination. We need all world governments to cooperate to prepare for this inevitability. Also to agree things like reduce use of fossil fuels to give us a few more decades to prepare. And then it goes on. The above is not a quote, but how I remember what James Lovelock said in his book, The Revenge of Gaia, etc. That's been unchanged on my site for years. And right, well, the other thing I should mention, yes, retired, happy and spending that kid's inheritance, is for some time now I've not been able to drive due to, well, several mistakes at the DVLA. And what I will say is that I have new evidence of what happened inside the DVLA, which I won't publish yet, because I'm still waiting for the reply to the letter which was delivered by recorded delivery to the head of the DVLA and also other people. So I'll put in at the end of this long video the video that's gone up, me talking about the DVLA, and basically in summary it says I don't want anybody to get into trouble, and that is definitely the case, and resigning is too easy. Problems need to be fixed. But quite honestly, that is a minor thing compared with all the other things that are going on in the world, not least wars, and of course what's in the background and very important is global warming. So let's run into that. Back in 2012.
Seen the launch of a transatlantic sailing attempt this morning in a model boat. Retired NATO scientist Robin Lovelock launched his Snoop Loop from Barton-on-Sea towards the Bahamas. It's already been tested over 5,000 miles on a lake in Berkshire. The model will be steered and tracked through a satellite system and by Snoopy, of course, and it should make the crossing in 6 months, if it survives, that is.
The most important thing of the lot, of course, is Snoopy the Viking, the skipper. I don't think he'd make it otherwise. We've also got another bit and piece here. This is a GPS logger that logs the position every 15 minutes. That was back in 2012. And we guy that put this material together, including the live broadcast and what went up on the BBC website, is Ben Moore.
I just worried for Snoopy. Sport now and Hampshire.
Right, on to the next topic. Right. Now, I'm going to do this all in one take. All unrehearsed and unscripted, so sorry about that. What I'd like to happen, if anybody picks up on the DVLA story, is, as I say, nobody getting into trouble, and that's a genuine request, but when they find flaws in procedures where they don't cover certain things, be good if those are fixed. What I think would be useful for anybody looking at the DVLA and perhaps helping them is, first of all, their organisation chart showing the structure. Yes, it's well known who the head of the DVLA, remarkable woman, looking at her CV, and relevant to this story is the head of the health part. But it would be very useful to see, even if names aren't attached, obviously the names can be attached where they're public already, is how many people in each branch, how many people are reporting to how many. So a simple tree would help. I suggest that first of all. Then, perhaps even more important, is how many people working for the DVLA, even if you don't identify the individuals, are salaried by the DVLA excuse me, directly, as opposed to contracted through an agency or a business. That is very important, and we've seen what's been happening in places like the NHS for years. So that comes into the equation in terms of whether money is well spent, and of course the DVLA collects a lot of money, and there are probably other things as well, but as a starting point, I'd hope anybody that responds to this, I can't afford to get overloaded, we've got other things to do, many other things to do, and we'll be taking a holiday. That'll be public, yes. I'm tracked everywhere by different things, and in fact, if anybody's paranoid about it, anybody who's tracking somebody or looking at somebody's probably seen already. But at the end of the day, there's me wittering on, which is one of my main weaknesses since I was a little child. That's why if you put things up, clearly be careful what you put up, and often it can do some good. I'm now in the kitchen, and June's rustling up some food in the microwave for Samantha, and here's Samantha, and of course there's tennis on the television, just for a change. So, oh yes, point out, holidays in we're going off to Sicily again soon, and into the hall. Yes, nice expensive paintings here. Yep, expensive little pocket camera, not expensive. And through into the lounge and out to wrap up this video by saying, look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy what days we have. Yes, it's now middle of March 2024, and the pond's changed quite a bit. I'll have to change the copyright statement at the end, but the message is the same. Look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy life while we can. Oh yeah, my hair's grown a bit since then.